right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching here. We got our second episode of Scruffy Lookin Nerf-Herders here. I'm here with my friend and coach, Doobie. How are you?
I am doing well.
This is
I'm excited to get episode 2 underway.
this is our second tournament game, so I guess we know how the tournament ends at this point since I've already released that one on this channel. But people may or may not know how this second game here goes. So. Uh,
Yes, it's nice to have a game too where we were both trying our hardest to win, taking it very seriously.
with most of our games on this channel, I'm the one playing the Empire, and here we're doing a little flip flop. So I think that'll be nice. I've got as a refresher, I lost my game as the Empire against you. So in this tournament format, you're now playing the Empire and I'm playing the Rebels, and see if we can split the series or if you'll take both of them.
So something interesting happened here where you were given a nice free build in Bothawi to begin with, and according to the tournament rules, Rebels were given the choice of deployment, and you chose Rote. I believe because you knew I was less familiar with road setup. Uh, I imagine that's why you did it. But as a consequence, you're giving me a chance to cover Bothwy here at the beginning.
That is 100% correct. You are. I am. I was trying to throw you off your game, so I thought maybe by going rote deployment, which you usually don't care to play, I thought that might work in my favor. But it does look like I am giving myself some easy subjugation on two rebel planets that otherwise would not have been subjugated.
No spoilers, but we'll see how that works out for me.
Yep, yep. So tell me about your deployment here. What do you got going on?
So I'm really just trying to spread out as much as possible without having too weak of any one particular fleet. I am uh, obviously keeping as much as I can near the core to protect Corellia, to protect Coruscant, and then just giving myself a good fleet in Mandalore to head out to Mon Cal. I would imagine that um, I will probably, I don't know exactly my plan to cover Utapau because I have a pretty inflexible fleet and Solist. Unfortunately, this game was a while ago,
Yep.
uh, but I probably am planning on taking one of those assault carriers to maybe Geonosis and covering Utapau that way from Tatooine. But I see here you're deploying in Bothawi, so it looks like you're up to something maybe on Tatooine.
Yeah, I see those assault carriers, and my first thought is, well, I'd better try to defend these two planets that I exposed myself to subjugation on. So, my
I'm
initial thought
rolling,
here is to go after those assault carriers.
yeah, I'm rolling only 10 dice there or
Yep.
something, five, seven, eight. So hopefully I'm thinking I can withstand an attack without a leader there if that's what's coming turn one.
Yep. I've got R2D2, so that is going on Dodana, apparently. I'm not really sure. No,
No,
there
no,
we go.
no, no,
Okay,
no.
where it's going on Leia. There we go. I'm not sure what was happening there.
You have a successful Rebellion YouTube channel, so there's no way that you would put that on Dodana.
The other card I've got here is Desperate Hour, which is nice to. I know you like to play that for Mothma's mission card to get that extra Moncal on the queue early.
Quickly, that's a very good play, although you have R2 here, and I have nothing in Seleucami, so also doing supportive Moncal on turn one is a good bet because you could take loyalty there. You don't have to get the immediate Moncal, you could take loyalty and then get an entire build this first turn.
That's a good way to think about it. I'm pretty sure that's not what I do here, but we'll have to see. I go with Dathomir for a base here. Not too sure about that pick either, but my thought process there was I want to kind of get away from the Death Star, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I figured you're probably not going there early with Kashyyyk and Moncal to take care of. So I guess we'll see how that works out. And then what am I picking here? Let's see. Going with Old Faithful. I like the Moncal play though. Now that you bring that up, Leia on R2 going for Moncal makes a lot of sense. I think you can't block both that and the Build Alliance and Utapau.
The hard thing with this established trade relations play is just the loss of an action. So if I did have Imperial propaganda or something like that, it's going to be tough cookies for you to keep Utapau.
Yep, yep, and losing Leia to block. Yep, can't block propaganda or anything along that lines. All right, let's see what you're up to. Do you run any missions here? Do you remember?
Surely I do.
I would like
Um,
maybe R&D on to protect Corellia here, if nothing else.
so I'm planning on making. I don't really have to make any movements. I do. I should move to Kashyyyk if I can afford it, but I really don't have to. So maybe even just a rule by fear to get a turn to assault carrier with the build on Mustafar, something like that.
And here goes Dodonna flying bravely into the assault
Oh,
carrier TIE fighter madness
you
here.
don't even bring the U-wing. It's this is so infuriating.
Oh, my U-wing is going to take out the second assault carrier at another point in time. That's my thought process there. But we will
Right,
we
right.
will see.
Perfectly reasonable.
That trooper is there to try to maybe bait out the TIE interceptor card. Not that you'll play that, but one can hope. 2 damage and you're blocking
So I,
hits.
I'm blocking 2 red hits.
And then
Uh,
no leader. No leader.
no leader. No. I expect a full wipe here and you get a crit. I'm expecting a full wipe here on this first salvo. Oh goodness. And you go for it too. This, so, I
I'm
mean, you might as well. This is what you plan to do.
This is what I was banking on,
Yeah,
so a little
of
bit
course.
got my Corvette alive here. Man, look at that. Dodonna's such a tactical master here. Then my one
The
lone
old man
trooper.
still got it. Yeah, this is the one thing. One reason why I am, in general, not a fan of road setup is because it it throws the balance of the map into such a wonky position, which sometimes is nice for a change of pace, but it really makes you susceptible to swingy missions because your fleets are so spread out and can lead to some uneven spots on the board. So I feel like, especially more so even with base deployment, if one side gets really good missions and the other side does not, then you're just in a world of hurt.
Yep, I'd agree with that. Yeah, that trooper did not do anything fancy here.
It's okay. He survived to live another day.
And then here we go for that second assault carrier here. Rather than save the Corvette and
I'm
expose
thinking
the.
about it. I mean, I could have. I don't. When I think about the map and the layout of the map, I really didn't have a Star Destroyer that I could afford. Um, I'm thinking about where I would have taken one from. If I take it from Solist, I'm so weak. If I take it from Coruscant, my core is so threatened. And if I take it from Mandalore, I'm never getting to Mon Cal.
Yep.
And so I think my deployment was good. I wonder if we ran this same battle, 10 times, how often you would get both assault carriers.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty unusual to get both assault carriers. But gambled and went for it in this one. There we go. 2 damage. 3 damage. 3 damage.
No, that was a
No,
mistake.
just 2.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
3 damage.
3 damage because of the ion cannon. Well, that worked out pretty well because now you've got a lone Death Star, and I ended up with 2 planets that I would have kept turn one had I just picked base deployment. So.
Right, right. So it did work out for you, and especially so because you have support of the Huts as your first objective.
Yep.
So it's going to be quite a long time until I make a presence in that section.
Everything's according to Dodonna's design here.
He is the new emperor.
Are you playing base or rote deck here for your
I'm
missions?
playing Rote. You mentioned I don't play Empire a lot, but when I do, I tend to prefer Rote, just because I feel like it gives you more options later in the game. Uh, the the base Empire I find in general is really good at creating production. And Rote, I feel like depending on how the game is going, you just have a couple more options if you want to pull objectives, if you want to pull units from the base, if you want to get a bunch of units on the map really quickly. The only thing it doesn't excel at really is production itself. And so
Makes sense.
maybe maybe I have Tarkin's card that can come out or something. I actually think I might have played Tarkin's card if I had it here, so I'm guessing I don't.
Yep. Yep.
But I'm just going to I'm moving to Ord, and I would imagine with the Emperor, I'm planning on moving to Seleucami with my Mandalore fleet.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And here you're seeing all of a sudden, I don't know how you're feeling at this point in the game, but Dathomir is feeling like a very perhaps unsafe
Oh yeah,
choice
absolutely, absolutely. Got too many
because
star
there's
destroyers around there.
and it's a natural movement too. Naturally, I'm going to move toward Ord, and I have I started with Megiddo and with Mandalore, so I have two adjacent systems. But yeah, that's what I did. I ran the rule by fear to get the extra
Get
AC.
the extra assault carrier, smart move. And then I did not run sabotage and went for the sneaky build alliance. But what you said would have made a lot of sense, grabbing support of the Moncals and just a
Mm-hmm.
standard loyalty in Utapau instead. So probably would have been a little bit stronger there. Pulled a rebel assault to blow up a star destroyer for my mission here, and as you mentioned, my other one is support of the huts, which is nice because I have Bothawi, but also not a lot of Imperial presence in that region in general. So,
Yeah, and that was you pulled Rebel Assault without infiltrate too, so
yep, yep,
that was pretty good.
quite lucky.
You
And
get
looks like,
turret, and I wonder um, who I pulled.
yeah, we probably played this game, what, 3 months ago? Something along that lines, and finally getting around to doing the voiceover right now. So it's almost like watching a new game.
Yeah, that's true. I remember this game. I feel like it went on a long time,
I think that's right. I think that's right.
and
Yeah,
I remember being pretty stressed out the entire time, especially because of how this first turn went.
we
I got
play.
Boba Fett.
Oh, Boba Fett. There we go. Now, did you take him for the action card, for the capture cards that you have in hand?
You know, I don't remember. I would imagine no. I'm not a big fan of Boba Fett, especially on turn as first recruit.
Yep.
Um, so I'm not too sure why I did that. Um,
Maybe you had
but it
Janice
must have
as
been
your second leader.
yeah, it must have been the lesser of two evils.
Let's see. Finally, going to get around to some infiltrating here, it looks like. I grabbed playing the assault, so I guess I could always use that for a Star Destroyer if I get a opportunity here, if I can't quite pull off a Death Star kill. Hit and
Yeah,
run, that's nice, and a hidden fleet for later. So all three good cards in hand so far.
hit and run could be. I think it would be really good for you to play it right now on Kashyyyk. I think that looks like a really good hit and run target,
Yeah.
especially since you're trying to um, attract as many units as possible toward Nalhutta,
Yep.
the Nalhutta region. It looks like you're not going to run it. I thought maybe that was why you picked Turret was to run that.
I don't. I didn't notice who my other leader was on there. I just like Basis Loyalty as a card. I feel like that's such a
Very good.
flexible card. One of the better leader cards you can pull.
Very good. Your other one was Undercover,
Hmm.
which, as you said, Undercover is really good in a few situations, especially if you're trying to go for the Death Star. If you're near the Death Star, it can be helpful for blocking Secure the Plans. But as you said, you were trying to steer as clear from the Death Star as possible this
Yeah.
game.
I think a hit and run in Kashyyyk would have been a real good move there.
Yes, yeah. Um,
Get rid of all three of your assault carriers before you have a chance to move any of them.
Right, right. Well, and that is the one positive for me is I think Rebel starting force takes a big hit with road deployment, and so as of now, your um, space presence on the map is limited to a U-wing and Bothawui and two X-wings in the base. So right now, I'm feeling pretty confident in my fleet, especially with two ACs coming out next turn.
And with only base missions to do here, I don't have a whole lot of stuff going on.
Oh, I'm running 3 missions. Wow.
One of them being a gather intel, going right after it. Do I block it? I don't know.
I wonder. So I need to move to Naboo and I need to move to Seleucami. Those are probably the two moves I'm planning. Which means, am I planning on giving you another build in Bothawui? Wow.
Perhaps. So
When
maybe,
I when I
maybe
play Empire, I try to think in terms of because it's turn two, so we're not building for 2 more rounds. So what is the minimum number of moves I need to make in order to be able to cover every possible loyalty site for the rebels? So that would be a move to Utapau, or a move to Naboo, and a move to Seleucami, and you would think a move to Toydaria.
Toydaria,
And
yep.
then if I do that, I can cover everything with the two ACs that I'm deploying.
Yep.
But I did not do that.
I
Maybe
did
I have
leave
something up my sleeve.
I did leave too many units in the base, so there was an opportunity to draw 2 probes there, which you took advantage of. So, and then going for the Chirrut capture too.
So this, I remember what happened. Okay, yeah. Um, I believe what is about to occur is I am trying to draw out Leia. That is why I'm playing these missions,
Got it.
because Emperor is on message from High Command.
Ah,
And
right, right.
so not only can I take Mon Cal and remove my need to move to Seleucami this turn, but that will give me an extra move to take
Take
Toydaria,
Toydaria.
Naboo, and some other place to be
Absolutely.
determined.
Yep, yep. So yeah, trying to
But
pull out Leia makes sense. She did block the capture on Chirrut,
uh-huh,
but yeah, that is going to open up high command for sure.
especially since she has R2, I can't just run message into her.
Yep.
Um, all right, let's see what objectives you get.
Suppose probably go for supply lines here. I think it's still early enough, but I
Yeah,
think
I really don't like taking long war if I can help it.
only downside is I sabotaged a spot where you're going to be removing it next turn. So I think that's probably what I'm considering here, and whether or not my U-wing is going to be able to do anything to block anything else. So maybe I'm just throwing in the towel on it. Oh, look at that. All right. Well,
Yeah, you
there's
take
a
long war. Mm, love to see it.
oh high command. So gross.
I'm surprised that I did that before Mothma did her mission. That was actually a mistake on my part. I should have moved.
Because
Um,
now I can remove your loyalty on Moncal if I want to go down that route.
yes, which I believe is exactly what you do. I might even have to block it with here with the Emperor. So yeah, that was a mistake. I should have moved to Toydaria with tag and then waited for you to build loyalty. Oh, I know why I did. Because I didn't want you to build loyalty there.
Yeah, that was the other thing is if I build loyalty there, then you can't remove it with high command because I'm already sitting there.
Yeah, so that's why I did that. I'm
Now,
not as silly as I thought.
and then I had to remove loyalty now potentially because if I didn't, then you could build there and I could not remove the loyalty next turn because now I'm still forcing you to move up in that direction. I think if I remove that, but looks like you blocked the attempt anyway.
Also, you're on I mean, this is how I think when I play Rebels is you're on Dathomir. And so part of your plan of being on Dathomir is the Mandalore force
Right.
needs to move to Moncal
Yep. Yep. Yep.
in order to keep your base safe.
Yep. Instead of being surrounded by 2 Star Destroyers. You know, no big deal. No big deal.
This is fine. This is fine.
But now you're falling into my trap of one
Right?
one single U-wing getting ready to take out an AC from afar.
Oh
So
goodness. Yeah.
interesting, interesting. And then you went to Dagobah instead of Naboo. What was the thought process there?
Um, I I didn't put it past you to be on Dagobah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Dagobah is kind of, in a way, the Dathomir of the other side of the board, and so I thought maybe, especially since you started right off with a rapid this turn, that maybe you were in a precarious position.
I mean, who would pick a base starting directly next to a Star Destroyer in a tournament game?
Ooh, look at this rapid you have. So
I
you get
probably should move.
Dantooine, Yavin, Nalhutta,
Yep.
and Dagobah, which normally would be a good probe if I hadn't just moved there, but
Still,
very good rapid.
especially because I've already got a hidden fleet in hand, also. Then we've got Akbar with It's a Trap or Jin with Trust in the Force. So with the Star Destroyer objective card, Akbar seems like the natural choice for that.
Absolutely.
And then I got my one-shot Rebel fleet coming out here next turn with the double Moncal, double Nebulon. So if I can just prevent you from moving to Dathomir this turn, then I can bolster up the base a little bit.
As you said, I'll put something in Moncal so that you can't take it back, and put the AC in Solist, which was my plan the whole time, in order to cover Kato and or Bespin, which are both good loyalty spots for you. And I think I dropped the second AC in Toydaria in order to cover ostensibly both Bothawi and Nalhada.
Yeah, that makes
Is probably
sense.
what I'm thinking. And I'm essentially at that point where I'm almost done with movement.
Yep.
I only need to move a couple more times, and then I'm done giving you spots where you can build more units, and I can just spend time trying to figure out where the base is and uh, do other fun Imperial things.
Makes a lot of sense. Going for that hit and run finally here. And apparently thinking about base defenses as well, since as you mentioned, in a precarious spot here. Definitely feel the Imperial grip on me at this point, which is funny because usually at this point in flip flop sides, I'm busy lamenting the fact that there's two Moncals coming out on the board and I have no idea where the base is.
Right. Um, this is especially this build turn where it looks like I'll probably be able to build another two Star Destroyers. Those two Moncals can disappear very quickly.
Yep. Yep, we often talk about the conundrum of having to deal with a rebel force that has two Moncals, and really kind of the ending takeaway of it that we always seem to get to is that you really can't expect as the Empire to win your first engagement against any sort of rebel fleet that has two Moncals. You just need to try to survive with anything you can manage to survive with, and mostly just try to bleed out those good rebel space cards, which are so powerful.
But you're doing something here. You're doing base defenses. Is that why is that? What is your thinking? Are you worried I might stumble on the base here, or
I
why
think
base defenses this turn?
I think that's the thought is if I play base defenses now, that will be my only chance to get those in the base if you fall on top of Dathomir. I'm not necessarily worried about you defeating that big ground force I have there, but having that shield bunker would allow me to last a little bit longer there. So in the off chance that you did move to Dathomir, because again you don't have that many places to cover, the shield bunker might make or break my ability to last a little bit longer to try to find a good spot to rapid.
So I think because as I showed last turn that I was willing to. Oh goodness. This is so sad.
Yep. Yep.
Um, because I showed last turn that I was willing to gather intel, you might expect I do it again this turn. And if I wait out your base defenses, I'll be drawing an extra probe.
That's true.
And if I do discover the base defenses or not, I have an entire another force
That's true.
that I can bring up from Ord. So maybe a rapid would be a safer bet if you were worried about base discovery. But I think it works out for you here because I just open up with the gather intel.
And I decide not to block it, even though, I mean, I guess the idea would be I'm assuming you're on a capture with Fett, so if I block with Leia, you move in, and then you have a pretty solid capture on Leia and R2, although I am sitting on greater good, too, so maybe I just block that in a different world. And then here we are with Akbar flying in with the solo U-wing. Chirrut's already
I love
there,
it.
so I could play his card if I wanted to go down that route, or I could just try to go for some sort of an insane Yahtzee with the U-wing. But I think I just play his
Huh.
card here.
You're doing a good job taking out my assault carriers, but I'm building so many of them.
Yep.
I mean, it works out well this turn because it gets you another speeder, I believe.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I remember being surprised that you were doing this move
Yep.
because you did not have any damage cards.
Yep. 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 And
And
I
so I'm like, there's no way.
and I and I also didn't play Chirrut's card, so we'll just
Yeah,
go with a needing double hits here, which didn't happen.
you spent both of your damage cards last battle, and so I feel pretty confident, and I whiff on the two black dice. Not good.
Let's see how cocky we get on the ground game here too.
And it's tough as well. I think you were saying you were feeling the tightening grip of the Empire. It is a turn 3, and there isn't quite a clear. You rolled first. I should have rolled first.
Oh
There
yeah.
isn't
Yep.
a clear way for you to score objectives yet. You haven't set up yet to score support of the Hutts. You have Long War, and at some point you will score Rebel Assault, but I think that's part of it too. Is your missions, while they're pretty good, they haven't quite gelled with your objectives.
Yep. Yep. Because as we've talked about lots of times to each other, I mean, you win the game with objectives. So many of our games where I'm playing Empire and you're playing Rebels come down to, turn 7, 8, or 9, where, I'm just about to the base, but you happen to
Mm-hmm.
score that one last objective. Not necessarily that, say it's Raid Factory or whatever, not that is such a great objective that I can try to prevent, but any of those other objectives I could have stopped would have given me that one extra move I needed. And we'll add another assault carrier to the assault carrier kill list there with number
Yeah, that
3.
was two rounds in a row
Love
of
it.
whiffs, and
Love it. I'm just going to count on that this whole game.
Akbar backed into a surprising victory.
You don't call him Admiral for nothing.
So taking Utapau, and you were right. I gathered intel on Utapau. In case you blocked it with Leia, then I just move in with Vader and capture with Fett. And you, in defense, you might possibly uh, build base defenses there with Riken to add another fist. But I think it's probably a guaranteed capture if it's 7 dice on 2, even with R2.
I'm starting to think maybe I should have picked Kessel or Nalhutta as the base here. Just got to keep blowing up all your ships. All right, one more infiltrate. So we have
I'm
no
trying to
captured
think
leaders
what I'm
and
worried
regional
about at this
support.
point. I think at this point, Endor looks pretty scary,
Yeah,
um, and uh, and Kessel is probably pretty scary too.
So here I pass on regional aid or regional
Support.
support for captured leaders because if I'm going for support at the huts, then that's hard to double down into regional aid, I feel like, or risky to try to turn that into regional aid. Also, don't have Bespin or Ord or Megiddo for the easy grabs there. Seems like a
I
risky
wonder if
objective though when Boba Fett's on a mission. I guess
right.
I've got that Obi-Wan's rescue card there, so maybe we'll do that. I don't know how I felt about that objective choice, but we'll see. And I forced you to Seleucami anyway. Just had to kill 3 assault carriers and to do it.
Yep. No, that was you had the right strategy for sure on that. And here I am. I'm just trying to. I might have in a different world tried to block base defenses with the Emperor, but I have to wait out your build alliance.
Yep. See where I
Um,
go.
I wonder if I try and block this because I don't really need to move anywhere.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that could make sense. Unless you're trying to move somewhere to capture somebody, but I don't see that option on the map either. So yeah, I'll bet you block that. Yeah, because and just to clarify for everybody watching, the reason why you don't need to move anywhere is the only tasty spot to move maybe would be Bespin to get that ATST build. Everything else is just a single tie or a single trooper on the map.
Yeah, and I think with your two Mon Cals coming out, the less I can give you, um, as far as more production, the better.
Yep.
And
So
then here comes the capture that we all knew was coming.
you do block it. The only other thing I could have done there was maybe put Leia there in prepping for Mothma to go, but I think I needed to block the capture, especially because I have the no captured leader card coming up. And
Yep.
if you're holding on to Vader's card or something along that lines, that can really spoil that objective from scoring. So just give up the hut loyalty for now and then come back to it later.
With something like hut loyalty, um, there's uh, maybe in a way you building loyalty there. Well, this is a good recruit for you. The
Yep.
I prefer to leave it until you get something like contingency plan, so you can just spring it in one turn. I don't know if I was paying attention. I think Geo was probably your best place to build loyalty, and so possibly I'm picking up on a possible support of the Huts for the fact that you went to Nalhutta. And so
Well,
that might have also influenced my decision to block, is to keep that objective as far away as possible.
challenge with Geo is you could have just subjugate. Well, no, you wouldn't have been able to subjugate because you had a unit on Utapau. Yep, that probably would have been a good spot
Yeah, I
to go.
moved to Utapau that turn.
Yep, yep. Then we got Cassian with four cards for under the radar.
Nice. Your first rapid was good, so I don't expect this one to be as good. There's Kessel.
Yeah, Kessel, Utapau might be all right too. There, go with Kessel though. I think that seems to be the safe choice. Utapau
Mm-hmm.
seems a little bit too fancy.
You don't
Now,
want me drawing that one. And then these should go back on top, I'm guessing.
now I've got 4 speeders and a shield bunker in the base.
Man, I don't know what I was thinking at this point, but I'm very stressed watching with how much ground you have.
I mean, that was the default for playing Rote. In a, I think the video Cornell and I did, or maybe not, but the default for playing Rote, it's always the stereotype is you go like with a ground game if you're playing Rebels. Just try to stuff the base as big as you can.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
I
what
actually think you just put 3 units in the base.
probably
You put a speeder, a
speeder,
vanguard,
vanguard,
and a nebulon.
and a nebulon. Yeah, right. Just in case. So you got to try to.
That's wombat math right
Yeah,
there.
you just gotta count one, two, two, and then then you get there. For those of you who have not picked up on that, if you watch most of my other games, there's usually at least one instance where I'm cheating and stuffing extra units into somewhere. Usually because I'm not keeping track of where I'm putting them down, but apparently also when I only have one place I can put units as well. So yeah, just it's a thing. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised I'm not running a rescue here, but I probably because I drew covert. I think if I don't draw covert, I probably drop Cassian on greater
Mm.
good.
It's not that bad. It's really risky running a preemptive rescue. I try not to do it unless I am desperate to. It's the turn where I need to win, and I can't afford to get the plans retrieved, or I'm desperately trying to score No Man Left Behind. Um, because I could just as well give up. Plus, you have the R2, and the R2 has proven very effective at blocking the captures.
Yep, so far so good. How do you feel about running covert ops, stolen plans, and would you run an infiltrate as well to have massive objective manipulating in this case?
You know, stolen plans is kind of a double-edged sword, especially since you still have 4 level 2s left. I guess if your top level 3 is really good, well, you'll go through 2. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's pretty good. If you see, um, you're going to see the top 3 level
Yeah.
3s.
Yep.
It depends on the order. I don't remember the order you do things. I would covert first.
I think I
Um,
probably should have. That would have made sense.
and if you do covert first, I think that's a pretty good play. Stolen plans is tough. Typically, it gets played when you're in the middle of the 2s, and then you end up kind of stuck in 2s for the rest of the game because you don't want to infiltrate
Yep.
because you know the objective's coming up and you kind of cheat it. But uh, if you have covert into stolen plans and you're into the level 3s, it's probably a good bet. Why Kashyyyk? Why this Sabo?
I was just wondering that same thing myself. It seems like that would have been better played on Megiddo or Ord or uh, Utapau, um, even Toydaria or Seleucami. So yeah, not too sure why I went there.
So I subvert this with Boba Fett because I'm setting up for a capture. I'm going all in. I wonder if I'm even on Antero droid. But I'm trying to capture Chirrut. You roll an amazing defense. Oh, I rolled really well too.
Yep.
I think I get him even with R2. And I think I was worried that as soon as you were opening with a Sabo because you were going to stack on there. And that's probably why you did Kashyyyk is
Yep.
because couldn't be moved.
That makes sense. Yep.
And you were going to Cassian on it and then
Yep.
Dodonna on it.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
so I just tried to cut that all off at the pass by going for the immediate capture.
Now
Oh,
this is kind
goodness.
of a risky move here, but I'm worried about Intero Droid coming out
Yeah, yeah.
next.
I wonder if I have it. I'm sure I would remember if I did an Intero droid on you.
So now I've got, I think I make a mistake here on the objectives too, if I remember right. So now I've got Death Star plans and seize control. And I trash the Death Star plans, which I think is okay, but seize control is supposed to actually go into my hand. And
Mm,
I put it back
mm-hmm.
like it's an infiltrate because I think I'm so focused on Interodroid. Um, yep. So I think that is all
Can I
the
reveal
things.
the intel?
Yep. And then
So this is the nice thing about your base being overstuffed is I'm just drawing probes hand over fist. I think this will be. Um, I've now drawn 7 over the usual refresh probes.
yep yep. And I have the small benefit of knowing those bottom 4 probes are decent, but at the same time, you will also know that those are the bottom 4 probes, or have a pretty good idea once you start digging through the junky probes that you're probably pulling right
Right,
now.
right.
So bit of a double-edged sword here. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at the track marker, trying to count. Okay, well, if I score, I'm not scoring long war here, so I'm gonna need to probably cycle through all these objectives. to try to see what's going on here. But here, when I do stolen plans, I realize when I'm looking at them here that I should have drawn seize control, or maybe I don't realize it until I draw it at the end of the map because I think or at the end of the turn because I think I wrote it down. But at that point, it being tournament, I was like it was a little bit too far gone. I think we may have discussed it briefly, but I just sort of wrote it off at that point. This is a prime example of stress getting to you when you're playing a game where it's like, well, shit, now I got all these good now I've got all these good objectives here.
And
You
as
know,
the game goes on, there's so many things to consider and to think about. I don't. I'm not a big fan of Long War, but I actually don't mind you scoring it here with support of the huts and No Man Left Behind, because I've seemed so determined to capture with this Boba Fett pickup, and if you don't have support of the huts, it really frees you to build loyalty wherever it benefits you instead of focusing on that region.
yeah, yeah, that makes
I don't
sense.
know if you decide to score it or not, but
I
that little bit of
definitely
interdictor.
definitely should. What I tried to do with Liberation and Seize Control is I tried to stagger out my combat and non-combat objectives because I definitely feel like I'm on a timer here. So I know there's multiple turns where I'm probably going to need to score two objectives in a row. One
Mm-hmm.
combat and one no one left behind, or one in support of the huts or long war or something along that line. So I'm definitely counting right now for sure. And then you've
I
got
am
a
taking Nalhutta because it seems like that's where you're going to build loyalty. And if you are on Kessel, I can just surround it, and I don't need to go to Bothwy yet because it's not a build turn.
and now you've got the shield bunker out on the Death Star too.
And I'm okay with this. You're spending Riken and Akbar to set up for this loyalty, which I don't think I mind. I think it's pretty clear to me now that you're going for support of the huts, and which increases, I think the positive aspect of using Long War to get rid of support of the huts.
I'm assuming you've probably drawn Alderaan at this point if you're moving everything to Megiddo here, because we know
Um,
Dantooine's at the bottom of the deck from
Maybe
the red one.
not. I do not respect the Alderaan base pick. Um, I figure if you go there, it's just a matter of time. I never see Alderaan win, so I'm usually not too worried about it.
Makes sense. And then I draw Death Star plans with my level 3. Not sure why I would have done that. Maybe I think my two X-wings are going to take out the Death Star. I don't.
You
I
knew you
don't.
were going to get one in a million.
Yeah, maybe
Look at
that's
that.
why. Maybe that's why. I'm
And
just
you have
gonna.
planned the assault
And I've planned the assault. Yep. So even if
with your third unit Nebulon in base already.
I mean, I feel like this is doable at this point. It's just going to be a matter of I need to survive that initial ground assault, which looks like I've got a pretty good chance of doing that. I'm not overly worried about your holding off the Imperial fleet in a base fight. So I think it makes sense to try to kill a Star Destroyer with these two Moncals right now is kind of my thought. Try to see if I can get Rebel Assault knocked out here.
Oh goodness. Well, I think this might be a mistake if you drop these in Kessel. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that because they're so far from your base
Mm,
and they're sandwiched between. And I still have three assault carriers to deploy.
mm, mm.
Um,
Just use plan the assault from the base with the
right.
Moncals. Yep,
I mean, in all honesty, use plan the assault to get the Death Star. You
yeah,
have one in a million. You have planned the assault. Just you can sabo there. You can wait for it to move, and there's almost nothing I can do to block Dodana and Leia
mm,
on plan the assault as long as Luke is in the system, or
yep,
there's
yep.
some way of setting it up where you can get them both.
And did I go with Luke? No, I went with Wedge on that one.
Oh, okay, okay.
probably should have considered Luke. I don't
I
know.
typically get wedge, but if I have planned the assault already, I like Luke because you throw him and Dodana on plan the
Yep.
assault, and it's nigh unblockable.
And I already have Akbar for my 3 space combat, and I've got Chirrut
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
my red dice too. So yeah, Luke's probably the better pick in that spot, I think. But yeah, definitely could go Death Star here. Could go, get a Rebel Assault. Have a few ways to start racking up points here. And instead, we're going Wookiee Uprising. So there we go. rescue
Interesting. Surely
rescue
you don't
Chirrut.
try and do that.
I maybe I'm thinking I'm gonna free Chirrut that way.
We
Uh,
have such good rescues.
Bigger fish to fry here for sure.
I am thinking I have Boba Fett's card, so this might be a big pass fest for you.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
you take off Wookiee Uprising,
Thank God.
because that would have been 3 liters that you were passing with.
Yeah, it's like I'm remembering my mental state here, and I'm hyper focused on on Chirrut being captured, and not let's blow up this Death Star before it gets a second shield bunker or whatever. Like that should
So,
be my
so
my
this is the
move.
tough part too about refresh objectives, because you're in this position where you haven't scored support yet, and you haven't scored No Man Left Behind. And that's one reason why I'm actually a fan of using Long War at this point, because you can spend a lot of effort freeing Churret and spend a lot of effort building loyalty, keeping your loyalties in the Hutter region, but you can only score one of those objectives. And so why not save yourself all of that effort? And
Huge mistake I just made right there, and I
yeah,
hadn't actually noticed you played Boba Fett where, but after you played it, I moved Dodana off playing the assault and moved him on to a rescue because I was thinking, well, if he's got Vader's card or whatever, then I might need to double rescue. So I go from making a good decision to just
which
gonna
is
have a pass
surprising
fest.
too,
Yep.
because you said set, and then I played Boba Fett, and then you
And
changed
then
your
I
narrative
changed my mind. Yep, yep, yep,
to a
totally.
mission that you couldn't play.
Yep. So going from probably getting 2 points here to not getting anything and passing on 2 liters.
the Yeah, I wonder what I have in store for Churret. If I remember, I have an exploit weakness, possibly retrieve the plans.
Yeah, I think that sounds familiar to me here. Yep. So open
The
open move should be Sabo the shield bunker, let you do whatever you're going to do with Chirrut, and then go for plan the assault on the Death Star. Instead,
mm-hmm.
I'm revealing the base to try to kill this Star Destroyer and Assault Carrier combo here, which also seems like I'm bringing too many things to the party here.
Oh, you just attacked out of the base.
Yep, yep, just attacked out of the base.
Okay. And I send Piet, I believe, with no card.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
Uh,
a card on there.
and you have not played a card either, but
I should be. I mean, wouldn't you play Akbar's card here? I feel like I
oh my
should be
goodness,
playing
yes.
Akbar's card.
I um
Looks like
I
I'm
think you
thinking about it. Yeah.
I wonder why you didn't.
I think I was waiting to see if you were going to send Piet or not. And then if you didn't send Piet, I may or may not have played Akbar's card. But
But
because then you might play Piet's card and then he's stuck there or you can't retreat or whatever. I definitely should have played the card. I don't know why. I don't know why
I'm
I did
planning
it.
on retreating, which is why I didn't play his card.
Yep, yep, yep.
I think I have ready for action. That's the card I would be more likely to pick, and I think you should flip the battle here. Yeah, which you do. But yeah, I need to retreat. I need to get to Ord or Mandalore or something. Get out of Dodge, and so I'm just trying to save as much as I remember this. This battle went so poorly for me. All of these battles gone so poorly for me.
Rebellion
Um,
guards are giving me a chance here.
okay, so I do uh, 2 puny damage.
Which
I'll
actually
take out these
stinks
X-wings.
because those X-Wings should be going to the Death Star.
Oh my goodness! Oh, look at this roll.
Looking good so far. Nice job, Akbar.
Gotta love it.
Maybe those X-Wings were rolling those crits. Hey, I healed one too. Man, what a good roll that
This
was.
is this is something you do, and we'll get some commentary. Uh, we should ask people to leave a comment, but um, I've been on you to do your re-rolls before you assign damage, because a lot of times you'll assign damage and then re-roll and then have to change the damage.
Yep.
So we'll see if people post in the comments if you're with me. If you're just do the re-rolls and then and then assign the damage, save us some time.
Well,
But you
that
wipe my full force here,
entire force spend P at
score a point.
only lose
Oh,
only lose my X-wing, but I did forego the Nebulon card. I still have a transport in base that I could. Oh no, I brought that with me too. So yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking. Is instead of planning the assault, maybe I was actually going for Rebel Assault instead, and then I knew I wasn't going to have my stuff in the base. But I don't know. I could have. Yeah, I don't know.
I just lost so much. I can't. I don't remember my mind at this point, but I am watching this. I am terrified of my prospects.
I'm
They're
feeling
just
good right
exposed.
now. Definitely
Oh
feeling
yes.
good.
In the comments, I say this sums up this game. So I
Yep.
am feeling pretty desperate, I think.
Yep. That sounds about right. Exploiting weakness. So this
Six
actually
rows
ends
two.
up. This ends up if this goes through here. Nope.
I think I lose.
If that goes through, you grab the right objectives and then, sets me back a little bit. I've got Seize Control coming up here next, which should already be in my hand, but I've neglected to pay attention to what I was
I'm
doing.
re-rolling my dice in anger. Oh gosh.
And we're down to
And now
eight
you,
probes in the deck. Eight probes in the deck.
and now with this attack out, you've pretty much put yourself in a position where you don't want to move.
Yep.
You want to stay in Dathomir. You're happy because you know Dantooine is still in the deck, um, and uh, I'm just in full recovery mode, trying to get back to that region.
I've still got Chirrut's card to wipe out an ATST. You've got your AT-AT and ATST planetary force stuck in Megiddo right now with no transport.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as most people know here, I don't play a ton of rebels, so this is a position that I am not often in. I often play against a position like this, and it does typically feel pretty hopeless, but I don't always know what the right move to make here is. So, for example, I'm hanging out with Leia, and I don't really know why I'm hanging out with Leia here, but maybe to build loyalty and then to sabotage it or something. Almost like I've just given
Would
up on the Death
imagine.
Star.
I think I think this is a situation where leaving the transport in base would have been good, because it would have given you some options to attack out and possibly blockade
Mm-hmm.
Mandalore,
Yep.
which would tell me where the base is. But by now, there's only 4 probes left,
Yep. Only four
and I'm
left.
going to draw 2 of them. So you're pretty much going to be stuck without plant false leads. So an attack out would have possibly benefited you to just keep everything as far away from your base as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
Yep. You're
I am
mad
so
about the
salty
rapid.
in this game because I'm realizing you got Yavin and Dantooine
Yep.
and Nalhutta or whatever it was.
And now we're going for Bothui. Tarkin finally comes to put the screws in
Finally, turn 5, turn 5.
with four speeders in the base. See if this trooper can do it.
It all came down to that Tatooine deployment, which is so interesting how the ripple effects of the first turn end up affecting the late game so
Absolutely.
significantly.
Absolutely. Yeah, Chirrut being captured's a bummer because his card definitely is helpful for final battle. Plus, I don't have a 3 ground force um, leader, so it's just him and Riken, which are my two level twos.
The and one good thing for me is that I have been producing well um, ground units.
Yep.
This is not a game where I've been slim on ground. I've been building on Solus the whole time.
Yep.
I've had been building ATSTs from Salukami, and um,
Yep.
so I hopefully can recover some.
Yeah, double pass is unfortunate here, even if I had run an infiltrate instead of a second rescue. Although I guess I know what my objectives are, so maybe I didn't have a whole lot of other stuff to do here. That must have been my decision. Was I was gonna charge into my Guido to try to wipe that fleet there. That must have been why I moved off of playing the assault.
And I'm building here in Ord because I'm gonna have to reinforce there, but also to get that extra ATST out.
So here's my long war. I need to do that now because I have stuff coming up that I'm gonna need to score too. And apparently I'm giving up on the Death Star, which seems
Okay.
maybe a little early, but because I could always move back to the base and launch out. But I guess maybe I'm thinking I might not make it. I can see the logic there. And then here's our same four rapids. Do two rapids this game and see the same four cards both times. And as you mentioned before, it doesn't make any sense to move, and I have no units to retreat, so might as well
Yeah.
confirm my
Especially
notes are
since you
right.
already committed base defenses. Maybe
Yep.
if you had left the transport in base and attacked out to Mandalore and saved base defenses, then you could move to Dantooine and be a little bit farther away from that Mandalore force. But uh, it's negligible. I think you've done a good job building up your ground force and kind of playing around those contingencies.
The minor challenge here would be with an incite rebellion. If I was already holding on to seize control, then I could potentially score seize control in Mandalore with an aggressive attack from my Guido, and then
Mm-hmm.
liberation with my incite rebellion. That still would only give me 2 points, but would give me a little bit of an angle there. Not having seize control makes the I don't know if it makes the decision any harder. I feel like the right move is to attack out to Mandalore here probably, and then maybe retreat back
Well, I
to
also have
the base.
Ozzel,
Oh, you do
which
have
you have to keep
Ozzel.
in
Yep,
mind.
yep, yep, yep.
So I'm going to probably drop a Star Destroyer and an Interdictor in Ord,
And then go
and
for
then
it.
catch by surprise Megiddo, which you will not be able to retreat from.
Yep.
You know, uh, I should drop that Interdictor, right? The that I mean, when you attacked with Akbar last turn, you played. I'm surprised that I'm not. Surprised I'm not putting the Interdictor on Ord.
I mean, technically, I could be on Dantooine too, I guess, because you don't know I'm there yet.
Well, no, I think no matter, even if between Dathomir and Dantooine, I think I always catch by surprise in
In
Megiddo
my Guido, yeah. Because
because
that,
there's so much game left.
yeah, and that's
But I
my
don't know. I don't know why I'm not putting the Interdictor on Ord.
maybe you're going to do a defensive catch by surprise and go on top of Mandalore with everything. That way you're playing defense if I'm attacking you.
Oh yeah, that would be. Um, I wonder if I thought about it doing it the other way. So one interesting thing that happened is when you played Akbar's card last turn, when you attacked into Piet, I didn't have really any good cards to play.
Hmm.
I had already spent my prevent two red hits,
Yep.
and you weren't trying to like preserve a ground unit or anything.
Yep.
I
Yep.
I don't know what I would have played, but having that Akbar card would be very good in the face of the Interdictor.
It would. Yep. Good point.
So possibly you could have been a little more conservative with that card.
Yep. Yep. That would make sense too. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you do with Ozzel. Sport of the Moncals popping up here. Greater good lets me draw an objective. The problem here is we're at that point in the game where, either team could still win in theory with the right objectives and the right the right combo, draw the right objective, score the right ones in the right order, try not to lose any objectives to retrieve the
Mm-hmm.
plans, all that kind of stuff. So there's the Ozzel move, the defensive move to consolidate your ground and then get your interdictor covering your
One,
unit.
so I did catch by surprise to Mandalore. I don't like that I did that. I think it would have been better to attack Megiddo. Maybe.
The other risk you take by that is I could play Prepare for Battle and get my Moncal cards back.
Right, right, exactly. Now oh goodness, I'm going for the block. The I might suspect that you have No Man Left Behind. Um, oh, I'm also probably thinking that I need Turret to be captured because you have such a strong ground force, and I don't want him playing his card.
Yeah, that could be
You
it
roll a
too.
3, I roll a 1.
Got Chirrut back.
Oh, it's so sick.
And then
I
and
hope
then now I draw Seize Control, I think. And I think this is at, oh nope, never mind. Seize Control's all the way at the bottom.
the yeah, but you do have Leia on Incite Rebellion, which you drew this turn,
Yep.
which was a good draw considering your liberation objective.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it's other than this huge, massive force right outside your base, you're looking really good.
And the Space Force, like at this point I'm actually conceding space. I'm not expecting my fleet to do me any good unless I draw an objective that I can score with them. So I'm not super worried about putting them back into the base or anything along that lines because it's basically all going to hinge on whether or not I can win this ground battle and keep you off me for long enough to score these objectives that I need to score. So that's why the loyalty focus and everything is going
Oof,
on Mandalore. Didn't
oof.
work out. Didn't work out.
Yeah, I rolled a big boy in order to
Yep,
keep
yep.
that, which was good because I hadn't been R&Ding that much, so there's no construct factory or anything like
Right,
that.
right. Then we got Kessel covered because that's under the radar.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Kessel's still under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably another one of why I was saying your rapid was so good,
Yep, yep.
expecting that to have been in it. But for all of my saltiness, I had drawn Endor and Hoth, so
Yep.
that was a big, big help to me because I didn't even have to deploy anything on that side of the map, really.
Yeah, you have not really done anything but one single rule by fear there.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a Bespin move. Looks like we're putting up some sort of a fight here. So play
And
in the
Kessel.
tow cable card so that way it's functionally like I'll have all my ground cards back because I've got confrontation left and don't have any desire to kill a leader here. Then Kessel
Especially
covered.
not one as pitiful as Piet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So we got a Sabo, a support, and an Incite to score. I'll probably do that on Toydaria or Seleucami, I suppose. Yeah, probably Seleucami because I don't need more ATSTs here at this point. And then, yeah, I just think I... Oh, maybe I didn't fast forward past this fight. There we go. All right, finally getting an objective under
Oh, you
under
know, one
wraps here.
interesting thing that we didn't talk about was I did drop two of the remaining four remaining probes last turn, and so it's possible I drew Dantooine.
Yep, it is possible
So
you
if
drew
I know it's
Dantooine. Yep.
Dantooine, then that catch by surprise makes a lot
Yeah,
more sense.
that probably is the case. You probably drew that. Then we got R&D out here where you can get that ATAT and that ATST that you've got on queue
Mm-hmm.
out there, which is extra painful. And then you have not played either of your starting cards either, which could mean you also have, according to his design with the Emperor too, which
Mm-hmm.
could be gross feeling as well. Another spot where Luke would be good for 1 in a million would be ground defense, because if I've got Wedge
Yeah.
there, then Wedge is only rolling one ground. I do have Chirrut, but it would be nice to get them both in there for the final ground battle here. So going for loyalty because I have popular support coming up, if I remember correctly, and I know that extra Mon Cal is not going to make a stitch of difference in the long term.
Yeah, you have just enough at this moment. Goodness, what is Vader on?
It's got to be retrieve or capture, I would think. Maybe hunt them down, although I
I
can't imagine
know.
hunt them down would be it because you have nothing really to target.
I think I have
Going for a desperate
planetary. I think I
sabotage
have
here.
planetary, and
You
I
might.
messed this up. I think I actually failed versus Wedge. Um,
Oh, that sounds
because I was
familiar.
I was debating whether or not to do hunt them down or planetary first, and I made the mistake of doing planetary first. Just that I had that one good loyalty roll on Mandalore, and now I'm feeling cocky
Yep,
about my
yep,
rolling.
yep, yep. And you'll see I didn't put Wedge. I took a shot in the dark with Riken on a sabotage there instead of putting Wedge and Mandalore as well because I must have been thinking about planetary or something there. Otherwise, I think I probably play Wedge.
It was so sad. I should have done hunt them down first to have the more dice.
And then this is risky too on whether or not I play 1 in a million or not here because I need all my base units there. Obviously, I'm not holding on to Return of the Jedi, obviously, because I'm not holding any threes. So I need to win this 3-2. So I think I do not play 1 in a million here.
Well, you can watch my roll first.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I can. Yep. Maybe that's what I
So I
do.
think I roll uh, pathetically.
Two.
What am I doing?
Yep. So then I say, okay, decent odds. Roll a two to block it.
Oh, punish him, punish him. Oh, you greedy boy.
And then
Because that
Fett
would have been devastating
then
if
Fett
that if
passes.
because I'm planning on pulling all of these units from Megiddo
Yep.
that have been stuck there. This AT-AT and ATST and the two troopers, and now you get to score. Oh, you actually make a mistake here, I believe.
Yep. I think I show you what I have and then change my mind and then play popular support maybe. Or maybe at this point, yeah, maybe I just go for
Something
no one left
happened
behind.
where I knew one of your objectives somehow, and then yeah, so now I know you have popular support or something. Oh. I think what happened was I didn't know you had No Man Left Behind, but when you did
Oh
support
yeah.
of the Mon Cal,
Yep.
it told me, oh, he has popular support.
Right, right,
Because
right.
why would you do that instead of taking
Yep.
a Mon Cal?
Yep.
And so by scoring that one, now I go, okay, I need to make sure to get him down below
Get
six
him down
loyalty
below
to
six
prevent another
loyalty.
score.
Yep, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, probably
Meanwhile,
should have done that. However, got Chirrut back. The downside, you're deploying your two troops into your two big boys into Mandalore. Oh no, you're not actually. Oh, you must have. No, Mandalore's still looking
gosh, I
pretty
have
low.
so much ground.
So
You have so
now
much ground.
the question is, how do I? And I only need to score. I need you not to get the base here, and I need to score 2 objective points. Which maybe if I had kept the Death Star plans, I could go after the Death Star here, but so be it. Instead, I need to score seize control, which I just finally drew, but I don't think I have a good sabotage target because I went after Mandalore riskily instead of taking the automatic
Mm.
on Toydaria, which is probably what I should have done because I drew an uprising. So could
There's
have.
also there's also a world where you move back to the base and then plan assault on Kessel and free Kessel and
Mm-hmm,
move there with your under the
mm-hmm,
radar. I
mm-hmm,
don't know
mm-hmm.
if you thought about that at all.
I don't remember if I did because then in theory if I plan the assault, move my units to, or at least move a unit to Kessel, or even, yeah, plan the assault to clear it, then I still have to win the ground battle either way. So that, Yeah, same rule applies. It just puts me a little bit safer. So here I'm thinking if I score popular support and I find a way to score seize control, I can win it. So I'm not sure what that looks like though. Maybe that looks like, yeah, I'm not sure. I think I need to sabotage and public uprising in the same spot, and then have you not remove my loyalty, of which I have one, two, three, four that I can see, and then I'm assuming one in Utapau and one in Ryloth. So I think I have six on the dot, and then can add one with Build Alliance for seven. So if you rule by fear, that takes me back down to six. Although you have not played Propaganda yet,
Or Tarkin's mission.
or Tarkin's mission, which is, I think, what he could be on right there. I think I'm pretty happy because I don't see the Emperor or Vader on a card. So I think I'm feeling pretty okay now. So we're trying to sabotage here to try to score seize control, although I don't like that thought here, especially because I'm going after a shield bunker.
No, you're sabotaging not to score seize control, but to prevent my Imperial Might.
Oh,
Because you
Imperial
see
Might. Yep,
Ozzel
yep,
and
that's exactly
Yularen,
what it is.
which
Yep.
is correct, although I should have blocked. Because in theory, if you had put a Sabo down, I still couldn't Imperial Might, and then I couldn't deploy next turn.
Got it. Yep,
But I
that
just
makes
take
sense.
the opportunity to move to Megiddo and end up with two free spots to
and
deploy around the base.
and getting that extra army on Megiddo as well.
Mhm.
Yep.
Exactly. So this is one of those situations where had the plan been to move to Kessel, I would be in a bad spot.
Yep. And to walk through that logic for everybody, I retreat with whatever I can here, right? So I retreat with maybe one Mon Cal and something. Plan the assault out into Kessel, wipe the two space units that are there. You have
Nothing.
no neighboring transport, and then because you've already consolidated here, if I under the radar over to Kessel, and if you're not on a gather intel right now, then I can move to Kessel and your
Which
SOL.
there's no way I would be on Gather Intel because there's no more probes left.
Yep,
Unless
yep.
I was expecting the move.
Yep.
So I flip the battle. You have Wedge. I don't think I played any cards, like keep them from escaping.
I don't think so, no.
I don't think I did.
Looks like I might have actually, the roll triggered 3 times there. It looks like 202, 203, 204. I'm not sure what happened there. More cheating.
I'm more focused on the crits.
Yep.
I don't think you did roll 3 times. I think it's just counting the different colored dice.
Got it.
But there's nothing you could say to me to make me respond other than to bemoan my position. I think at this point in the tournament, I'm something like 7-1.
Yep.
And so I'm just feeling so hyper competitive.
Yep. Makes sense. I think you.
And I remember the last Megiddo battle where I got brutalized.
Yep. All right. Let's see what I take out here. I don't know if it actually matters what I take out here, since
if you don't, if I didn't play keep them from retreating, which I don't think I did.
Oh, you have the
interdictor. The
interdictor. Yeah,
would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, seems like the logical thing is just put all 5 on the interdictor.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the plan the assault, or apparently I'm just gonna stay and fight. That's just gonna rely on good rolls. Okay, there we go. That's the right move. Go ahead. And then obviously if you roll heals, that's gonna spell bad news. Nope. Clearly I could have edited this a little better.
It's wonderful. It's building the tension.
It is. It totally is. Especially because I don't remember how this goes. Hey, no heals. What do you know? It's one
I'm not
Moncal
following
down.
my own advice. I'm not re-rolling. Oh gosh.
Oh, I didn't go for the interdictor. I went for a Star Destroyer. Apparently, I am ride or die with Wedge here. We're just going for it. Oh, because obviously because I'm not trying to move the base at this point, I guess.
You
So
also might be worried about track then.
track them, yeah. Yeah, you still haven't played any starting
Haven't played
cards on there yet.
anything.
We'll block a crit here.
Yeah, you. It's good you have the transport with your fleet.
I think this is the last hurrah of the Moncals.
They did well. They did their job.
And then with Ozzel gone, so the next thing I need to prepare here is I will have the rest of what I should be thinking about this turn here is I should be thinking that I'm going to get one single movement before next turn. Since I'm not moving the base this turn, because I'm not clearing Kessel, the turn marker will advance one at the end of this turn. I will get one
Hmm.
action before you attack the base, so I potentially have the rest of this turn to score seize control, or I need to score seize control with the very first action of next turn, which maybe could be
Mm-hmm.
with. And I think what I'm thinking here, if I'm projecting, is my guess is I pass on public uprising here because I need to score that next turn. And I think the next objective, again, had I
Oh no.
picked up, oh, look at that.
Why are you?
I don't know. Not sure why I did that. Mm. Yeah, that seems like I probably would have liked to have that in the next battle here.
Yeah, and I can heal it now. Yeah, yeah. That's not what you want. Oh
Mm.
goodness.
Sadness, sadness. Okay, well there goes. Yeah, could have used that for something else. I think that's why I didn't edit out this combat altogether, is because it was important to show that debacle in there. And again,
Decision making.
if anybody just missed that, I played one in a million with the idea of taking out the interdictor. But again, that doesn't matter at all. I think maybe I got caught up in the moment where I was thinking maybe you cycle cards and then play the interdictor card next turn. But this is a lost battle at this point, and
Hmm.
I had already given that up when I didn't kill the interdictor right away. So seems like a
Possibly the play was instead of opening up with the sabotage, if you open up with an attack and you bring, everything but the transport from Megiddo, and then you bring the Nebulon and Ewing from the base with 4 ground units, and you just try to blockade
mm-hmm,
Mandalore. Yeah, I can't get rid of Megiddo's still blockaded,
mm-hmm.
and then in the end, you've taken out hopefully the shield bunker with your ground force, and
Yep,
so I can't Imperial Knight there.
yep.
That might have been the play in retrospect.
And there's factory and uprising for
And
the
and
next
that's the
one.
thing too. That's the thing about stolen plans is you haven't infiltrated for the past 2 or 3 turns,
Yep,
and that raid Imperial factory has been buried
yep,
in favor of this seize control, which, as you're saying, you can't score at the
yep,
moment.
yep, 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 yep. Very true. Yep, stolen plans. Like you said, the downside in that is so. Let's rewind to stolen plans. When if you draw it with your very first card, let's say, when do you try to stolen plans? Do you try to stolen plans through level ones? Do you try to do it? Do you wait till you're most of the way through your level twos?
If I'm playing stolen plans, it's usually because I'll do it once I have 4 level 2s left in order to either um, find Heart of the Empire and score it as soon as possible, or get Death Star if I have planned the assault or 1 in a million, or if I've done an aggressive base near the Death Star, I'll do it to dig for one of those vital objectives. But if I don't find any of those, if I don't get to them, then I have to force myself to infiltrate because it's just too important to get to Major Victory and Uprising and Return of the Jedi. Um, oh goodness.
Here we go with Tarkin's card. Let's see what you get
Yeah.
for loyalty here.
Specifically to prevent popular support.
Yep, yep. And I will attempt to block that with Chirrut. Although it looks like it's been rolling pretty good. Not good enough, though. All right, so let's see what you go after. Yep, both
Get
of the
5.
Rebel loyalty. So we were at
Mm-hmm.
6. We're down to 4 now. And I was just prepping for trying to build my last loyalty up here. So now we're back up to 5. So I'm going to fall 1 short of regional support here, which is unfortunate. And then yep, and then I passed with Mothma because obviously I need to use that to score Raid Factory at this point, which I could score on my Guido with that. But I needed I needed you not to strip 2 loyalty there, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I don't think I realized how close this game was.
Yeah, very close. In theory, that Raid Factory. Now, it wouldn't have made a difference me not drawing the extra mission card because the top mission there was actually Uprising. I remember thinking about that, like going through the rabbit hole of what if I drew my covert ops the way I was supposed to. Could I have had Raid Factory 1 turn earlier? But it wouldn't have mattered because I was that far away from Uprising.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So in this case, I'm going to need to try to survive an additional turn. So because I can score Raid Factory first, but I'm still 1 objective away. So in that case, the logical thing to do is stuff the base with another speeder and then have a giant ground force here. 5 speeders, a bunch of vanguards, some troops, shield bunker. That's
goodness.
that's quite the pile there.
I am building a huge ground presence again. I'm getting 3 ATSTs, an AT-AT, and again I have that Imperial Might yet to be used.
Yep, true.
So
true.
I believe what I do is I deploy a shield bunker in Megiddo and in Mandalore in order to ensure that I can get it off.
That makes sense. Yep.
And then we just have a glorious battle.
Glorious battle here. 1 shield bunker in
goodness.
Mandalore with an AT-AT. 1 shield bunker in Megiddo with an ATST.
A Star Destroyer.
Oh, with a Star Destroyer. Yep.
Yeah, the ATSTs are coming out with Imperial Might.
So then, yeah, I suppose the play here is to Uprising in Megiddo to get rid of the shield bunker and the troop, which makes that Star Destroyer not useful and scores the point. And then that will leave you with a decision on whether or not you give me another action to try to score a separate objective in exchange for getting your Imperial Might troops down, or if you force the attack and say, okay, well, we'll just go straight to Dathomir then. So I think you're actually going to have a decision to make here too, because I think I can put you on that timer by scoring that first objective here.
Tough part too was if you had been set up for seize control, then you can score with your first 2 actions because you can raid Imperial Factory on Mon Cal.
Yep.
And you could have seized control, somewhere else.
Yep.
When you
Absolutely.
score with the first action, it puts me into panic mode, and I think I just go for it.
Yeah, you've got Imperial Might. You've got the Emperor down, which suggests to me that you don't have according to his design.
I think I'm you have Return of the Jedi,
Oh yeah, that
or there's a
possibility of it. Yep. Okay, so we do open to get rid of this shield bunker on with my move here. In theory, I suppose I could have. I don't think there's a world where I go space here in order to kill the Star Destroyer and then blockade. I think it just makes more sense to ensure I win the battle there.
Yeah.
That scores me factory, gets me 1 point closer, and then we're just within one now.
Ooh.
So now your big decision is: do you Imperial Might, or and then let me try to score whatever that level 2 objective is? I mean, it probably is popular support, but you don't know for sure.
I do Imperial Might.
Oh, you do? Yep, yep,
I
yep.
call your bluff,
Call my
and
bluff.
it's a good thing that I do because your base is crazy.
And then again, had I sabotaged in,
Yeah.
in Moncal, where I could, you know,
Where you
I
are
could, where
sabotaging.
I could be now. Instead, I could be running Plan the Assault there, going
So I was
after.
planning to stack leaders. I
Yep.
was planning to, because I believe I have tags card,
Oh yeah, got it.
maybe,
Yep.
and
Yeah, so the
that
sabotage puts you on a
forces me.
timer here. Sabotage, now you know what I'm up to with Dodonna, obviously.
I think what I imagined was only the only way you could generate units. Oh, I go for the block.
And see,
Oh
I
goodness.
need 1 in a million here. I should have saved it for that move, but it ends up working. But that was
Yeah, you
such
get
a
it, and
critical
that
piece.
forces my hand.
Yep, yep. So then
That
you have to
forces me.
attack, and
Oof.
that is a tournament level uh, army we have on both sides here.
So crazy.
You have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven ATSTs and two ATATs against five speeders, a shield
And
bunker.
I use tag to get the AT-AT card back. That's how important it is to get
Yep,
rid of that.
yep, yep, yep. And I'll bring
And
Chirrut, and I have his card
over
here.
the course of a battle, the shield generator will generate a lot of value. But one thing that people often don't think about is it's another 3 red damage you have to get.
Yeah,
That a lot of times these battles go where sure we wipe all the ground troops, but then if your structures are left, I'm still lost.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes
You
sense.
make the right choice and you get rid of the dice.
Yep, yep. Get rid of the 2 green dice with Chirrut's card there.
And I have no strikers, and you have a U-wing card, I
I
believe.
do have the U-wing card. Yep, I do.
Man,
To add one more,
ground unit.
probably soldier. Although I think I probably pick a vanguard. I probably should pick a rebel trooper there, just for long-term heals.
And I go for the capture.
You do go for the
I'm sure
capture, and I thought
because you cannot heal.
maybe a little early, but you end up getting it. I skipped the dice roll on there, so Chirrut will be here for one single re-roll.
Ground combat. Yeah.
Yep, yep, and then he will be gone. So that ends up being a pretty big deal there, to the point where maybe I should have done draw their fire to try to save Chirrut. I don't know. Who knows? That one extra vanguard may not make much of a difference. All right, so we'll go after, I assume, an AT-AT here with tow cables. You knock out the shield generator, which is great because then I can't get my tow cables back. So tag's card, very nice there. And then you've got 1, 2, 3 red hits, 2 black hits, and a couple of heals. All right, 3 heals. So how do you do damage here? When you have lots of units, is it generally to your advantage to just kind of do equal damage across the board and then save up for a no heal card?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think I just do even damage on those units, and at some point I'll pull out the no heal and hopefully just wipe everything.
All right, here we go. Chirrut, don't fail. That's not bad. And 2 more reds makes the most sense here.
Oh,
Okay, okay. So we can take out that AT with 2. And then doing some good damage. Now I think it's all ATSTs at this point. The only reason to go after that AT-AT is because it was wounded from the tow cables. And then we got 4 troops down.
I think that's all my troops.
You got 2 more left.
2 more left, okay.
And then I can take out ATSTs at this point because the AT-AT can go down last. I think the extra black dice, not a huge deal. All right, so still max red and black for you. I'm down to not max red, but I'm max black and green, and then 4
you have no
red.
Rerolls.
And I have no rerolls, unfortunately, because Chirrut has been captured. So those Star Destroyers ended up doing their job. I mean, even though I said I give up on space, maybe it would have been better to have no space units in there instead of, and then that way it wouldn't have risked my my leader being captured. Interesting decision here. And having the shield bunker is a bummer because I can't pull my tow cables back right now. So you may do no heal or you may flip the combat, but I don't want to preemptively flip the combat back. At this point, since I'm on defense, I think I just play take it down. Come on. Nope, just play take it down. Play take it down.
We get the same internal monologue from your solo videos.
Yep.
You arguing with your past self.
It's true. I mean, we play enough games where I don't remember. All right, that's the right move. Flipping the combat. There you go.
Yeah, I should flip the combat because I have so many red dice to heal.
And now got to do even damage to everything and no rerolls, unfortunately. Still good. Four hits on reds, and then 2 hits on 2 hits on your 3 black. Yeah, so 1 there, 2 on that guy, and then 2 ATSTs are toast. So now I need you to not roll any heals.
Man, okay. This is just down to the wire.
4 speeders. Oof, looking good. Okay. No heals so far. Oh, look at
that. Oh no.
You got 1 troop left, 2 ATSTs, and 1 AT-AT against 3 speeders and like 11 vanguards. Why do I have so many vanguards?
Yeah, I think you
should have gone for troops. I'm losing 1 black dice roll by not deploying that extra troop instead of doing that. So I should be rolling 4, 3, and 3. Instead, I'm rolling 3, 3, and 3. Which seems like minor details, but like you said, sometimes these battles come down to the last wire. So I have to flip the combat back now. And then now that you're fresh on cards, or still have good cards.
Bad. Yeah.
2 on that. You're rolling first now. And I've got 3, 3, and 3. And I need to do 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. So it's definitely possible if I roll 8 successes here. Pretty evenly spread because you've got some black health there too. If I roll 8 successes, game's over. But that's looking pretty solid on your end.
It all comes down to this roll.
Yep. If I roll 8...
I need you to have 1 bad roll. Come on, buddy.
Do it. Do it, Chirrut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6...
Oh my goodness.
Ah.
You rolled so well.
I need Chirrut's rerolls back.
Oh goodness gracious. It's still not over.
AT-AT, ATST.
You have the Vanguard.
I've got 2 Vanguards because I'll be healing.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And you've got an ATST. Okay. Yeah, man, could have used those rerolls there. Although, what would I reroll? I wonder if I would go for, because I guess I would actually probably reroll for a heal on...
you'd have 2 rerolls, so you could reroll the crit and the
Yeah,
black.
I could reroll them both. Yep. Oh, now look at that. One ATST against
So
two
the thing is
Vanguards.
I can't just kill. This is the thing about the structures is I
Yep.
can't just kill. I have to
Survive.
survive.
Unfortunately, I'm out
Fortunately,
of
yeah.
fancy cards at this point.
Right, right, right.
So yeah,
Oh goodness.
two hits with Bombard makes sense. So I have to score doubles, which would have been nice to have Wedge there maybe, but I had to go for the
You
win
just
too.
roll. You didn't want to wait.
Nope, I didn't wait. I just rolled four blanks and then okay, good game. Well,
Oh goodness.
look at that. So ended with one single ATST on top of the base. I don't know if yeah, I guess I do win if you don't win that combat because we advance out. So it's crazy how this game goes down to the last wire so often, even when it seems like yeah, I mean, this game is so swingy. You go back left to right and back and forth, and I don't know, man. Crazy game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
Well,
man, that was fun to relive. Thanks for the invite.
yep, absolutely. Thanks for doing this one with me, and we'll find a fun one for the next episode here in a few weeks.
Absolutely, can't wait.
All right, man. Take care. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching episode 2 of Scruffy Lookin Nerf-Herders with myself and my friend Doobie. Looking forward to getting episode 3 out here in a few weeks. If you haven't already, please like the video. Feel free to comment and also subscribe to the channel. Been getting some real good traction lately and hoping to get a little bit more. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.